their icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com. Member FDIC.
Hi, I'm Bob Reddings of the Bob Reddings family of dealerships. See our huge inventory of about 2,000 vehicles by clicking on our ad at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
WTIM. Good morning, Central Illinois, and welcome to the WTIM Morning Show on your information station. The show is sponsored by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville. I'm your host, Reed Kamai, and it's a time now for our monthly chat with the folks at the Taylorville Food Pantry, and I've got their co-coordinators in studio with me right now. On my left, Amy Hagan, one of the co-coordinators. Amy, thanks for coming in this morning.
Thanks, Reed. It's a pleasure to be here, as always.
Yes, it's so good to have you on, as always. And Pam Moses, another one of the co-coordinators, is on the right. Good morning, Pam. Good to have you in as well.
Thank you, Reed. Appreciate it.
Yes, it's always great to have you in. And big month at the Taylorville Food Pantry. I know we typically start by looking back at the previous month and the numbers that came in for people who came in. And I'm curious what it is you have to report.
Well, numbers for April were 50 families higher than we were in March. You know, we've talked a little bit before we got on the air, the reasons we think that numbers are going back up. Obviously, gas prices are up. It's taking a lot out of their pocket. Utilities are also up, taking more out of the pocket. So, you know, those two are big ones. We haven't seen, groceries going nuts again yet, but with fuel costs, we could see those go up as well. So, those things, we're seeing more people come in April. And as we talked, we expect that to continue into the summer for, additional reasons other than just the economy of costs.
Yeah, and it sounds like, even if the price of food is not going up, the price of other, things that people need really to go about their lives. I mean, it still bites into their finances, and then, it can have effects elsewhere. And it just seems like that's what's happening here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And as we said, here in the next, depending on the age, anywhere between now and the next 3 weeks, kids are getting out of school. They're coming home, more mouths to feed at home. No school lunches and no programs here in town that provide any lunches for kids at home. So more mouths probably mean more people, more neighbors coming to the food pantry.
Yeah, and it seems like, and I know this has happened in the past where you have to account for that as well. How's the supply at the food pantry? How is that doing there in order to keep up with the influx?
Well, if anybody were to come to our food pantry right now, Reed, they would see that our shelves actually look pretty good. I'm always impressed and excited about the variety of product that we have. Of course, we're sourcing food from a variety of sources. We've got a truck that comes in from Springfield, the Central Illinois Food Bank. We have volunteers that run up to the Midwest Food Bank in Bloomington. And then basically every day of the week, except for 2, we've got folks that are running to different retailers and wholesalers here locally to make those runs and get items that the stores no longer can sell. So we've been a little bit short as far as volunteer shoppers these last couple of weeks, and I've gotten thrown into the mix, and I actually get to shop with our neighbors, with our patrons. And I'm always impressed and interested in how much the average household walks away from our food pantry with upon their visit. It's not uncommon to have a heaping grocery cart load full of stuff that they walk out with, and we're extremely generous because the community is extremely generous with us. So.
Well, your update there on the supply was encouraging, and not out of a lack of faith for anyone. I was a little bit worried just because of what seems like that increased need for all of the reasons that you gave. So
Yeah,
So,
we
go
we
on.
have a volunteer who is of the opinion, and she is of deep faith that where the need is great, the Lord will provide. And I would say to you that that has been the case with our food pantry. I guess it was this past Saturday. Perhaps the Saturday before as well, the local Kroger store had donated several boxes full of meat product that could no longer be sold at the store. And we're talking beautiful, beef, packages of beef and chicken and turkey and, all the meats. And you look at the retail price of that meat because the sticker's still on it.
Yeah.
And it's, $15-20 a package. And we're able to give that to the families that are coming through our doors.
So that's great, and that you're able to at least for now keep up with the supply, and I'm certainly hoping that you'll be able to do that this as you go through the summer, as things kind of evolve from there, and we hope it'll keep up with it. Anything else you want to share kind of about those trends before we move on?
Well, when I do keep the numbers, and what's interesting is that the month of April really fell in line with the month of April last year as well. And it seems like, that's typically when the numbers start ticking up for the year. As you look at the average for 2025, we serve 425 families, and last month we were at 440. The number of people that number represents, 1165 at the end of the year, and yet we serve 1235 at the end in the month of April. So our average number of households we serve each month was 47 last year. Average new households last month, it was 42. So we're either tracking at average where we were at the end of 2025 or higher than average. And again, as Pam said, just an indication of, potentially what continues to be in store for us over these next several weeks and months, as families continue to be stretched economically.
Yeah, and so it sounds like there's some consistency, at least with last April,
Yes.
Even if there are different circumstances now, and I would imagine that at least helps you folks kind of plan for it and make sure that you'll provide what the community needs.
Absolutely. I mean, we're always watching for deals, and we're always trying to make sure the shelves stay full. As Aim said, there is a choice at the pantry, and what we have available will fluctuate. I mean, sometimes we have certain things, sometimes we don't by availability, but we try to fill it with something. So, that remains how we've been pretty much since COVID. We have pushed to stay ahead of it, and so far so good.
Yeah, and it sounds like, with what you were talking about with where you're at with supply, and it sounds like staying ahead of it is what's going on right now. I'm talking right now with Amy Hagan and Pam Moses, co-coordinators with the Taylorville Food Pantry. Let's take a break, and we'll continue our conversation when we come back right here on the WTIM Morning Show on your information station.
Your information station, WTIM.
Spring just has a way of putting a little more energy into everything. Brighter days, warmer air, and more reasons to get out and enjoy it. Your home should keep up with that. At Hickory Point Garden Homes, you'll have your own one-story duplex with bright open spaces, a private patio, and neighborhood walking paths just outside your door for that perfect stroll in the spring sunshine. You can spend less time managing your home and more time enjoying the warm spring days ahead. See what that feels like at Hickory Point Garden Homes in Forsyth, Illinois, and step into comfortable living for $55 and better.
Since 1938, Shelby Electric Cooperative has kept the lights on for our members when no one else would. Today, we're making that same commitment by bringing reliable broadband to underserved areas. Just like electricity years ago, fast internet and phone service are essential for quality of life and economic growth. Shelby Fiber delivers future-proof internet straight to your door. Visit shelbyfiber.coop or call 217-774-2323.
If you need care, Springfield Clinic Taylorville's walk-in clinic is available. Here's Dr. Pavi Gill with Springfield Clinic Taylorville.
Springfield Clinic Taylorville has walk-in hours from Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. You do not have to be a Springfield Clinic patient to be seen at the walk-in.
Get the care you need at Springfield Clinic Taylorville. Walk in from Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. till 8 p.m.
It's tax time and your refund goes farther at Landmark at Taylorville, your Chevy, Buick, and GMC headquarters. This is Bill Pinkston, General Sales Manager. Drive home in style, power, and reliability with huge savings on our full lineup of trucks and SUVs. Bring in your tax return and let one of my leprechauns maximize your budget. Plus, with over 400 pre-owned vehicles in our family dealerships and our lifetime powertrain warranty, why would you buy anywhere else? All roads lead to Landmark at Taylorville. And remember,
You always do better at Landmark.
Carl Krumsick here from Krumsick Monument Company in Taylorville, Illinois. Find out the many services we provide by clicking our icon on the obituaries page of TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
This is Blaine Cornwell with Prairie State Insurance. To learn more about our products and services, click our icon on TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
At People's Bank and Trust, they help their consumer and business customers spend their time living their life, not explaining it. At People's Bank and Trust, they put people first. Find out how they can help you by clicking their banner ad at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Hi, this is Jeff Robinson from Advanced Title. Whether selling your home on your own or through your local realtor, please give us a call at 824-8007 for all your title work needs.
Your information station, WTIM.
We're back on the WTIM Morning Show on your information station. The show is sponsored by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville. I'm your host, Reed Kamai, and I've been joined in this interview by Amy Hagan and Pam Moses, co-coordinators with the Taylorville Food Pantry. And there's something that I'd love to talk to you about that's been discussed a couple times actually on this show by other folks. We've got a couple micro food pantries around the community, and that's something that you folks at the main food pantry have been involved in, and I'd love if you could share a little more about that and how they came to be.
Well, sure, Reed. We actually saw a post, and about the same time, Amy talked to Bernie at a local fundraiser, and found out what they were doing. And first of all, there's 4 of them now. There's one located at probation. There's one located at the library. There's one at the health department across from the junior high, and now there's one out at the Taylorville Township building. So they're for emergency. We'll make that pretty clear. These are not food pantries. They are micros. They are for emergency to tide people over to get them to the food pantry when we're open. So it's just a gap filler. But yes, we are working with them to help them with supplies. They've got somebody who's building them, and they're trying to cover different areas of town. And so they come out once a month, and we try to send them some supplies so they can fill them back up.
Yeah. I mean, it's a Christian County Coalition, I guess, right? Is their technical name. And a lot of very prominent, well-respected people in our community that take part in this coalition. And, I guess really the impetus of us working together is it became very clear that these well-intentioned people were literally digging into their own pocket, their own finances to try to keep these micro pantries stocked. And they were having difficulty in keeping them stocked. And so Pam and I, had gone and sort of done an inventory, as it were, noted the locations of them and how the shelves were basically bare. And in light of the fact that, we want the community to understand that we are addressing the issue of food insecurity. That is what we do at the Taylorville Food Pantry. It makes sense for us to work in partnership with organizations rather than independently of other organizations. And so, it was a meeting of the minds, and we shared with them what we thought we could do, and they were over the moon about it. We've got our business cards and I think some other information posted within the micro pantry, so that people know that they can access our services, our hours, etc. So, but yes, it is, it's partnership. It's a comprehensive solution to try to meet the need in our community. And we couldn't be happier about working together.
Yeah, and what I've heard actually from those other organizations, kind of what you mentioned, is that they're really happy about the partnership too, and that they're happy to be working towards solving the issue of food insecurity, at least for the time being, and making that happen. We're just about out of time. Amy Hagan, Pam Moses, I almost mixed up the names there, co-coordinators with the Taylorville Food Pantry. Amy and Pam, thanks as always for coming in.
Thanks, Reed.
And thank you for listening here on the WTIM Morning Show on your information station.
The Big 870 WTIM Assumption Taylorville. 96.1 FM Taylorville. 107.5 FM Shelbyville. 107.9 FM